everyday struggle here on Complex. I am Nadeska with my wonderful co-host Wayno and Akademiks. I see Ak just did a little stretch and a warm-up. What are you getting ready for?
Nothing to debate. I mean, listen, as we said the last couple of days of high school, you know what I mean? Listen, I'm trying to not be the class clown and actually take everything serious. You know what I mean? We got to go out very dedicated.
I feel you. I've been noticing that Ack has been having a new array of hats. I'm really appreciating this now. Nice gray brims. Had the LA joint on. You know what I'm saying? It took him 3 years to get it right, Nadeska, but you know he's getting it together.
You're trying to look good for the audience these last couple of weeks. That's really sweet.
Man, get out of here, man. My hat game always been right. Salute to Michelin Ness, man. They make some of the greatest
fits. Is that a
new
Brooklyn
era
hat
too.
you're wearing?
Brooklyn Ness, man. I'm from Brooklyn, man. I told you I'm from the trenches.
What?
I'm just trying to let y'all know.
Stop.
Yo, I rep Brooklyn better than you. I kid you not, Nadeska. Like you're almost a poor representation of
If
Brooklyn.
You guys, this guy, you're so disrespectful, bro. I grew up in Flatbush. Every time Akademiks talks about Brooklyn, all he calls it is the slums. And all of a sudden you get one hat and shit changes just like that.
How is you know what's very troubling to me? Akademiks has never been to Juve. Not once. Not once. Jamaican man. Like we gotta put him in question. I ain't gonna front, yo. Like I gotta really question your Jamaican card. If you've been in New York / New Jersey for like a ladder of your life and you've never been to Juve.
Do you even know where the parade is at?
I've been to the parade a bunch of times. I've not been to Juve, to be honest. You know what I mean? And honestly, I'm okay with not going. I will say, though, Wayno is very hypocritical, like you've always been while you've been on the show. Didn't you just tell me, like, yesterday that you couldn't even Harlem Shake even though you're from Harlem? You can't do nothing right.
It's a horrible stereotype, Akademiks.
What you mean? Nigga, it's called Harlem Shake. It ain't called Jersey Shake.
Horrible stereotype, Akademiks. We'll just leave that there. Okay.
To the people who are watching me from Switzerland, Iceland, and Poland, they don't know what the fuck Juve is, man. Okay? So they have no idea that Jamaicans or Caribbeans should be like, attending, that. But
so
Harlem Shake.
Just forget about your fan base.
I'm just saying, Harlem Shake just sounds like something that somebody from Harlem should do. I'm just saying.
All right, you know what, guys? How about this first topic today? It's about Future, an artist that we all love. So we got a very rare interview from him with Rolling Stone. He actually had a conversation with Roddy Ricch, which was pretty cool. And he talked a lot about how he looks at his brand in rap. Very specifically, he regards himself as a villain in rap. He says, I built the brand where they're like, that's Future, don't even pay attention to him because he's fucked up anyway. He says, for me, I can get away with shit. You can get rich off of being the villain because that's what people expect. But he does say if he tries to be the good guy right now, people just don't want it. And then he goes on to say that Real Sisters, which he dropped back in 2015, he also understands that even though he is the villain in rap, he couldn't drop that song today. He said people would judge you too hard. You can't say I'm with two sisters at the same time. The internet is going to go crazy. But when it came out, it was a cool thing to say. He said you can't even write a tweet without apologizing. So two things here. I mean, would you guys agree that Future has built himself to be this villain where he's sort of untouchable in that realm, and also that he still couldn't drop Real Sisters in this climate?
I agree, 100%. I think he's spot on with this. No, he could drop Real Sister. I think he means not a new artist can. I think he's basically saying he's created a brand that luckily was established before this now, as I call it, this little pussyfied like social media era where if you say something, you got to worry about offending someone even though you weren't even thinking about them. Then you probably just got to retract your words because you should have shut the fuck up in the first place. So Future tweets wild shit all the time. And if you look at Future on Shade Room, Future is known for a few stereotypes that people are just, I'm not saying they like, but they're okay with. So Future can say some shit that other people can't. First of all, also, Future says he's putting out a book of tweets. Let the streets pay the tab. She belongs to this. Like, Future knows.
If you're getting money, you're her type.
I love that one. Okay, if you got money, you're her type. I mean, Future knows that. Listen, some of the things he's saying, I'm not saying he's becoming a caricature of himself, but like definitely he has a lane where like we expect it from Future, we like from Future. It's almost like 50 Cent. 50 Cent once said that yo, they're not gonna cancel me for a lot of things because I'm 50. Like I'm almost grandfathered into this era where people are often scrutinized. But if it was a new artist coming out with that type of content, super, like leaning on the misogynistic type of lyrics, they're getting that person out of here, man. For real. You gotta have. That's why I can't understand why a nigga like Chance the Rapper ain't winning. because he's so like in the middle. The nigga's the
He's
definition of
not in the
bland.
middle. He's on one side. He's not
No,
in
no.
the middle.
Well, what I mean is like he's so safe. He's bland. Like you know
Right.
what I mean. Like you would imagine somebody like that that's winning. But Future's right about everything he said.
Well, I don't agree. I don't think that Future can drop a song like that today. I
What?
feel like I'm gonna tell you why though. Let me tell you why. I feel like today, especially like the youth of today, they are the ones who are making it seem like you can't have any type of emotion that when you create that just might be some fucked up shit. It might might be some shit that you really feeling on that side. Like I feel like if Future did drop a song like Real Sisters, all the conversation right today, all the conversation today would be, oh, he hasn't learned. He's still so insensitive. While he might make a lot of tweets and shit that's funny, and I think that just plays into his personality. I think he is right. Like he can't himself right now can't make a song like that because people are gonna act like he never made shit like that, or that now that he's this age, or now that he has another kid, they're gonna make it look like, oh, he hasn't grown up, or he's this or that and the third. Nah, he couldn't do it today. But I think that Future has made himself into like his own. He's his own thing. There's nobody else that can do what he does.
But do you guys see any young artists coming up right now who, of course, they're not going to be Future, but are sort of building a brand in a similar way where they could get away with things a lot of more mainstream artists can't at the moment?
I mean,
Like
haven't seen him
Kodak's
do
or
it yet.
Young Boy, or not still in that realm?
I would say Kodak. I would say, but the thing about Kodak is that Kodak always shows you two sides of him. He's this reckless dude who does all types of unpredictable shit. He's a firecracker when he's home. When he's in jail, he's a gentleman and a scholar. You know what I'm saying? So it's like he for real. He shows you all this different shit about him. So I think that like Kodak hasn't had like one thing, but that would be the closest I get to it. Like even like Gucci, I don't think there'll ever be another artist like Gucci. Like Gucci kind of set that stage for Future a bit.
The difference between I have a few that come to mind, but the difference between them and Future is that like Dirty Sprite 2 was pretty much a very commercially accessible and commercially successful album. Did well mainstream wise. Like nigga like Blueface, he got a little brand going on. Like he got the Blue Girls Club. Like he doing all type of stuff. You get me? But nobody's checking for him. You get me? It's like niche. It's very niche. I think that is also capped the ceiling on YoungBoy and Kodak. I think for newer artists that's doing that, they're not gonna get the just a mainstream acceptance as I think Future did at that point. I think Future, when Future got some of that acceptance from the mainstream, it was seen as edgy. I think now, especially like, say YoungBoy, like there's domestic violence under his, docket. Like they're looking at him a little different. Kodak, because of some of his issues, they're looking at him different. So while they're building the brand for themselves, I do think that particular brand kind of limits them, because now you kind of got to be a little bit bland, and feel a little bit of edginess in there to really get to that point.
I don't think it's that act. I just don't think that, and I feel like YoungBoy has the. I just don't think that their music is as good as the music Future was making at that time. I think that like when we're talking about all of these different things when it comes to Future, let's also talk about that music. Let's talk about the production. Let's talk about the run that he was on. I feel like YoungBoy has a similar run with his fan base, but Future had that shit amongst like everybody. I feel like a lot of people don't get into YoungBoy because they pick and choose their reason as to why not, and not just simply say I fuck with his music. Even with Blueface is doing a lot of crazy shit, but I think he's doing that because the music isn't where it once was 2 years ago.
Yeah, I feel like if we're gonna say you have to make Future level music to be to actually do that, like come on, ain't nobody go. That's like a once in a lifetime run right there. You know what I mean?
I'm just
Future,
saying that's what it is.
Future himself can't even do it again. You know what I mean? Like I think pretty much this is an interview saying, "Yo, I know y'all want that shit, but man, I can't do it again." By the way, also this does parallel the conversation that I think I see actively in comedy, where comedians almost lament over their content now, saying, "Yo, I can't really like tell them jokes and kind of say that type of stuff like yeah, I'm the black guy. I could only make race jokes about pretty much my own race, but I can't touch on the gay community. I can't touch on people who might be in the transgender community, LGBTQ community, period, or other communities at all. So I think
That's right. Remember they tried to cancel Dave Chappelle for that big special where he touched on all the things you just talked about, but he didn't eventually get canceled, right? Because he was just on SNL a couple months ago. So
I,
he's one of a kind, I guess, in that space that he can still do it and still have a career.
he's
I
threading that
think.
fine line.
Well, I think I like the point that you brought up, act with the comedians. I feel like the whole thing about comedians is that people have to realize that comedy is an art, and the things that comedians say are to kind of just take away the tension of everything that everybody's going through. I think that, and that's just today everything seems like an attack. Like everything seems like an attack, and comedian, you made a great point with that.
Yeah, it's a lose-lose for a lot of people now. And I think that's why when Future of all people is kind of expressing this, it should tell you. But look at Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart is getting killed for doing this like super PC. I love my wife. It's a Chance the Rapper of comedy specials. You feel me? And really, and he's probably in a position to say, y'all want me to get edgy, but as soon as I get edgy, y'all cancel me and kick me off the Oscars. I can't host nothing. So do y'all want me to get the money or just kind of like, being almost blackballed and just like pushed in a corner, some niche corner where, yeah, you respect me, but I'm not getting no opportunities. It is what it is. Catch 22.
Yeah, 22. I mean, just a quick side note, Kodak, the scholar, as Wayno said, is currently in prison, tweeting that if Trump will free him or pardon him, he will donate $1 million to charity in the first year that he's out. Trump is pardoning everyone left and right. He's probably going to pardon himself and his kids, so maybe he'll hold Kodak down. You never know.
I bet Kodak would donate $1 million. Shit, like I'm pretty. I bet he would. Like, why wouldn't you?
Again, I've always said rappers are for self. A lot of times we misconstrue when they speak or when they do something to think they're moving for the people. Niggas fuck with Trump if Trump will help them. Duh.
That's a fact.
Duh. All right. So, guys, in the last week of the show, when we do sort of a recap of some of our highlights, we're going to run back some of our favorite moments on the show. I think Machine Gun Kelly's going to make it in there because we had a really good interview with him last year, early this year. It's like all a blur at this point. He talked all about his career, all the things he's been through. He talked about his beef with Eminem. And recently he told Interview Magazine that he feels like Eminem is the reason that his album last year, Hotel Diablo, had a poor reception. He says, as a hip-hop album, Hotel Diablo is flawless front to back and also a hint at the evolution of how it went into a pop punk album, but it was coming off the tail end of that infamous beef with Eminem. Do you guys think MGK is right here that clashing with Eminem hurt him? Because sometimes a beef that high profile actually just puts more eyes on your music, ears, you know what I mean?
Well, I'm caught in the middle with this one. Usually I pick a side, as Meek said, I pick a side. But just listen to what he said. Like, I would have agreed more if it was kind of universally seen as he got his ass whipped or he got bodied by Eminem. I felt, if anything, he shocked people. And yes, M fans are never going to fuck with him. Don't get that twisted. But I think for other people who might be neutral or might be open to a Machine Gun Kelly, I think they probably were like, yo, let me check it out. Or at least they were open to it. So I don't know if those people were probably like, oh, no, you just beef with M. We don't want to hear your shit. But I can't say it wouldn't affect him because trust me, anytime I've ever given Machine Gun Kelly props since he beefed with Eminem, I usually see a million Eminem fans just jump out the blue where they think they on some Beyonce shit where they want him to be hated, banned, and just ostracized from hip hop forever. So maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, I think he definitely felt the effects of it. He definitely felt the effects of it. I remember when both of us agreed that MGK kind of got at Eminem. Our episode had like 10K dislikes. You know what I'm saying? That shit came out of nowhere. I'm like, damn, we don't never get 10K on either side. Like, we had 10K dislikes. I think that Eminem, he's proven that he might have the most rapid fan base, and why MGK, did stand up for itself. That shit was definitely a learning curve. You know what I mean? It definitely was a learning curve. Like, what are Eminem's like fan base called? The Shadies? Like, who are they? We got
the stands.
Yeah.
The stands, right? The stands.
The Stanleys,
man.
I
think that MGK did feel like the brunt of that, but ultimately he still survived it all. Like, he's still very successful. So I think that he should just look at that as a trial and tribulation as at his career. But he's still doing his thing.
I'll say this though. This is me trying to understand his point. Um, again, this might sound. I don't think it sounds ignorant, but you heard what Future said. You gotta apologize for even say some real shit. Listen, truth be told, both these motherfuckers are white, and when you're white in hip hop, there's a special fan base that don't even like hip hop. They only like white rappers. I'm gonna just keep it true with y'all. I know y'all might not want to admit it, but that's what it is. And maybe when you diss the most popular, legendary, best white rapper of all time, those white fan base, it's like why no Republican want to diss Trump. Some people that fuck with Trump, you probably could also fuck with you, but if you diss Trump, they like Trump way more than you. That's the same thing here. That's what I'm thinking, why maybe the support was less. Because truth be told, on this rock album that he came back around with, it did really well, and it looked like a lot of people were more receptive. So I could see why he's drawing that parallel to say, damn, my rap album was fire too, why y'all ain't support that? Well, part of the fan base that you would normally attract, you ostracize by doing some shit and getting that M. I don't know. I might be wild. Shoot from the hip.
I mean, content-wise, are you the future of rap media? Not the future, but the rapper future?
He's the Gucci man of rap media.
The Gucci man.
I'll tell you.
He likes that even better.
A few bodies out here. Like, he's definitely the Gucci man of rap.
Oh man.
Because it's some days where Akademiks can flip it. You know what I mean? And he can his suit and tie shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you gotta do everything, man. You gotta do everything, man. You gotta just have the Gucci, man. Yo, Wayno, you ain't shit, man.
You just made his month with that one. Don't pretend. My prediction for MGK is that in like 5 to 10 years, he's just gonna be some super big time actor or something like that. He's gonna get some like big ass like movie roles. But he's
doing some good acting now though. Like was he in Bird Box? He was in some other shit.
Jamie Foxx. It's a movie with him and Jamie Foxx. The pill shit. I forgot the name of it. But it was really good.
Oh, okay. I didn't get to see it, but I've definitely seen some like trailers for stuff he's been in. But I feel like once he gets that leading role, because he's pretty good in all the stuff he's been in, he's gonna be out of here, which I think is a really dope transition for him.
Ain't they like Megan Fox or something like that?
Oh yeah, I think he is. Isn't he?
That was a while. He dating Megan Fox now. I thought that was a while ago.
Yeah,
man, you can't keep up. Yo, we gotta have that act. We gotta have that conversation too, because MGK he got a nice resume when it comes to, you know what I mean, the ladies. I ain't gonna front. He got a definitely nice resume.
Future will be proud of looking at his collection.
They're together right now.
Oh, okay, shit. Well,
congrats. I really bring that up not to just be in his business, but like saying if he's doing an on-camera thing where he's doing a big screen, wasn't she in like Transformers or one of the movies? Like, you know what I mean? Hey, maybe they could do some shit like that. You know what I mean? Maybe they could have the sequel to The Notebook. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out.
The sequel to The Notebook. I
don't know.
Sometimes. All right. So Juicy J has a new album out called The Hustle Continues, and in a new post promoting the album, he said that 3 Six Mafia is the best group to ever do it. You know how these conversations go. A lot of people agreed with him, and then other people have started throwing in groups like Bone Thugs, Outkast, Wu-Tang, and more. Would you guys agree that 3 6 is the best to ever do it, or at least like top 5?
I wouldn't say that they're the best ever, but they're definitely in the conversation of best groups of all time. I mean, like when I think of like my favorite groups, I put of course Wu-Tang Clan, Run DMC, Outkast. Shit, I even throw Goody Mob in there. You know, I feel like they don't get their just due. Shit, when I think in terms of
do duos count?
Duos, absolutely. Why not? Mobb Deep, like we definitely got to throw them in there. I think in terms of influence, shit, I put them in there. I put the same Lunatics in there too. Like, I feel like 3 6 Mafia, when in the 90s, they were really slept on. You know, like the only way they didn't really get as much airtime on BET when that was the only place we could really consume their music. So you had to have a cousin that used to go down south. That's how I got onto them. My homegirl, her family was from Memphis, so she used to always come back with the tapes. But if you look at over the past 10 years, look how much influence they had. You know what I mean?
Wait. You put Saint Lunatics as one of the best groups ever?
No. I said influential. I said as far as they influence.
I had to Google who was up in St. Louis. I'm like, it's Wayno tweaking, or am I?
I think that they one of the most influential ones.
Okay.
You know, like as far as like they influenced a lot of kids. Like remember when we had the Nelly conversation? I started talking with Ali and he brought up a lot of shit that I was like, damn, I didn't pay attention to that. So I think that 3 6 Mafia, yeah, I think that 3 6 Mafia kind of births ASAP sound. You know what I mean? Like they got influence in there. Shit, look at Cardi B's. A lot of the records that Cardi B flipped and bounced. You know what I'm saying? Shit, G Easy records. Like I think that a lot of influence comes from 3 6 Mafia, and they are one of the best. If we would have like a strong top 10, they definitely in there. I don't know where their place is at, but they definitely in there.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm ready to have the best group conversation because I feel like that could be an extensive conversation. But I'm putting them top two in influential. I think that's the right word to use. And obviously he's gonna say and he should feel that 3 6 Mafia is the best. It's definitely in the conversation, but where they rank ahead of some of these other groups that we're talking about, I think that's debatable. But in terms of influence, especially in the last like 10 years, 10 to 15 years, like we've seen a lot of their music just take a new life of its own by newer artists, whether they already had knowledge of them or just kind of flipping their stuff. So I'm gonna be honest with you, like when I think about influence and the groups, I'm gonna say really it's them. I'm gonna say them and Wu-Tang, honestly, truthfully, you know.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, it's
Outkast there too, but
it's
I'm
a lot
gonna
to
say
dig
them and
into.
Wu-Tang. I think we've seen so many artists, just like introduce us. And by the way, this is why Juicy J had like felt like he's had a couple different lifetimes in terms of rap music, just because he his music influenced so many other people who were active in the scene at the time. You
Right.
get me? So like
I'm pretty.
I gotta agree with that one.
I'm pretty sure that like sampling, like the money that they make off of people sampling them on a yearly basis is probably
That's
like
what I
a
want to know.
whole, yeah, like I'm pretty sure just that alone, like, because a lot of people sample their shit. I mean, even like Project Pat, people, I feel like people still put Project Pat on records today because of like their run from back in the days. It's not really what's going on currently with them, but like, yeah, I think that a lot of these kids, shit, Wiz Khalifa, there's tons of people that got 3 6 Mafia influence, so they definitely one of the best groups of all time.
All right, so one quick thing on this influential note, I think a lot of artists, especially Southern artists, will name Outkast as rappers who have been influential for them, especially if you come from Atlanta. But recently, Young Thug was on T.I.'s Expeditiously podcast, and he said, "I can't rap you two Andre 3000 songs." He says, "I never paid attention to him, never in my life." Then he goes on to say that they should work together, but it's so hard to get in touch with him. Do you guys really believe that Thug has never, ever, what do you say, paid attention to, that he can't rap 200,000 songs? That really surprises me. I love Thug, but
I, I believe him. I believe him, and I'm gonna tell you why a lot of people don't. A lot of people don't because they don't be in Atlanta, right? And perception is a big part of how we see some of our favorite artists. I remember one time being in LA and talking with somebody, and they like, "Yo, who do you think is like the most influential or biggest artist from California?" I'm like, "Snoop," and they was like, "Nah." I thought that Snoop was like what Jay Z was to New York, and it was like, nah. So like when it comes to Atlanta, and you think about the type of artist that Thug is, remember that Thug is born in probably, I don't even know how old Thug is. He's not 30 yet, right?
I'll double check.
How old is Thug? Like Thug is he can't be 30 yet, right? The
He's
reason why
29.
all right, he's 29. The reason why I'm making that point is because if you look at Thug and the type of music he makes, and just like a lot of shit he was influenced by, I feel like everybody compares him to Andre when it comes to style, when it comes to how he dresses, when he's fearless about what he puts on. Because Andre was like that. But in terms of music, I don't think that the Thug was bumping Outkast at all.
I
I
just would
don't.
think it's something that like was playing at home, one of his family members, even if it's something he was
Fuck
not
no.
actively listening to. But
Thug looked like he was in the streets. If y'all seen the
Yeah.
earlier videos, he looked like he was in the streets. He wasn't one of them.
Thugger was not listening to fucking Hey Ya. He was not listening to Look Below. He was not listening to AT Aliens or Aquemini, none of that shit. That nigga Thugger was bumping. I'm pretty sure in his household, niggas was listening to Gucci or listening to like shit. Fuck, even Gorilla Zoe at a point in time. You know what I'm saying? I feel like it's just the perception from the outside looking in, and what Outkast means to us from an Atlanta staple. It's just a hip hop staple, but especially Atlanta, that we think that everybody in Atlanta jack their shit. That shit don't work like that. It don't.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm gonna take it from a different angle, but I do believe the majority of people that are like, yo, blasphemous or saying blasphemous, they're looking at it like, yo, Thug probably looked up to Andre 3000 for some of his, brave fashion choices. And, Thug obviously came in the game and did a couple of things that were very just outlandish as well. But truth be told, I think Thug kind of capping, man. Like he said,
Why?
I know he said he couldn't rap two songs, which might imply that those songs like word for word. But he knows Andre's catalog. Number one, I think Thug is a student of the rap game. I don't think he's one of them niggas who just like, oh yo, I just started rapping yesterday just cause like, I was in the trap and the beat started playing. Like, how everybody's story sounding that. So I do think he knows. What I think this is where I think respect has to go both ways. And I think Thug feels disrespected. That's what I'm getting with everything he's saying. Not that he's playing Andre. He's like, yo, man, I don't know that nigga. Yo, you dress like him? This and third. Like, Thug, you used to wear dresses, or maybe you still wear dresses. You admitted when you were younger coming up, your father used to beat you because you were cross dressing. Like, you admitted all these things, right? So like when you're getting at T.I. who's trying to bridge the gap by saying, wait, why don't you dress like him? Maybe you weren't trying to dress like him, but some of the things you were doing, right, even once you became an artist, could be closely related to him. I think Thug, knowing that he now is a modern day legend, kind of felt a certain type of way when he reached out to Andre and he felt he got little niggered and he felt he got disregarded. So when you disregard him, he's going to now disregard you. He took that point. The point didn't stop when I don't listen to his music. The point went to look at Elton John. And by the way, if you like, with all due respect, if you know Elton John's catalog and his music and you're in love with his sound and whatever, how do you know his shit but not Andre 3000? Again, it's like I think Thug feels disrespected, so he made it a point to disrespect, belittle, and try to just kind of make Andre look a certain type of way because he felt, yo, it's a certain type of artist. They don't want to call you assistant. They want to call you. You should know that. Like,
No, absolutely.
like
You're right. That's a fact.
if
I was just so real quick. I was just thinking about like with music because remember when they asked Chief Keef like, so who you grew up listening to? Who was your big? And he said Beanie Siegel, and they was like Beanie
yeah,
Siegel, like because he said that's all my mother was playing. He's like that's my mother's favorite rapper. Like that's all I was listening to as a kid. So when I'm thinking about Thug, I don't know every like what's so crazy about Thug is like I still don't know his whole story. You know what I mean? Like as long as we've known him as an artist, I still don't know his entire whole story. Like we may know other people, but I think as far as on a music tip, yeah, of course he's aware of Outkast. He knows what they've done. But as far as like knowing their music, I don't think he. I think that the perception is because he's from Atlanta, he should. The same way how if a kid from New York, I asked him like, "Yo, do you listen to the Locks?" They be like, "I don't listen to no Locks." Like you know what I mean? Like I didn't grow up listening to that, and I'd be like, "What? You from New York? You should know this. You should." Even though he's a student of the game, I feel like from a visual standpoint, yeah, I agree with you. You had to be paying attention to Andre some sort of way to be dressing the way you are. But as far as music, I think it may just be a little bit different.
So somewhere in the middle then. Because yeah, it's when he says I never paid attention to him in my life, never in my life. That just simply cannot be true. But let's see. It may just be an
Yeah.
ego thing, but it's unfortunate because I would actually really love to hear Young Thug and Andre 3K on a song together. I think that'd be amazing. So hopefully this is one of those now they have a phone call because he is notoriously difficult to get in touch with because it sounds like his heart has not been in music for a long time, right? I feel like that's well documented. So I don't know if this is something he should take personally.
The crazy thing about Andre 3000 is you catch him in the oddest place. Like I was walking in Soho one day and he was just walking down some random block by himself. Like the thing about Andre, you might catch him in the weirdest place. You know what I'm saying?
He pops up like
well,
Frank Ocean. I've heard a lot of stories like that.
Yep.
well, he better fire that assistant and make sure that the next assistant forward Thug's call. When it says this Thug nigga, send that call to Andre. I don't care who it is, man. Send to Andre, all the legends. Thug's a legend now too, man. I think that's him to demand his respect. But let's go on.
Well, actually, we're ending with some bad news, man, today. Some horrible news. So, Casanova is another guest that we had on the show recently. That was really cool. Him and Ak had their cute little makeup moment. That was really nice. But yesterday, the New York sector of the FBI posted a tweet asking for the public's help finding Cass. They said they're looking for him in connection with a gang who are charged with racketeering, murder, narcotics, and firearms. Some very, very serious charges. Never want to hear this kind of shit.
Yeah, this shit kind of caught at like everybody by storm. Cass is a person that I would consider a friend of mine. We've had great moments, great times, great laughs together. I hope that it looks bad, but I hope it's not what I see. My prayers just go out to him and his family, for real.
Yeah, no, of course, definitely prayers go out to him and his family. Me and Cass, we've had a very interesting history, but man, most recently, me and Cass, we got on the phone a bunch, talked, we've messaged each other. Like, I mean, right before COVID hit, I went to dinner with him. He was showing me class around New York. He was like, "Yo, these are the spots." You know what I mean? Like, and what I've realized, just even just talking to him a lot, man, if you ask me, and again, I'm not with everybody everywhere, but Cass was past all that bullshit. You get me? And that's the thing about New York. It's like a catch 22, bro. You sometimes coming along as a street rapper, you may be involved in certain things that hopefully when you have a way to change your life, you leave behind. But with how they design these RICO laws, you don't leave that behind. They're gonna come get you for something you did in 2007 when you're in a whole different space of your life. You get me? Obviously, like from what I know of him now, like he's big on his family. So I know his family's probably going through a tough time. And man, I hope they could just be strong in this period, because who knows what's gonna happen. I think they say they haven't found where he's at. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah. Much love to
Hopefully, get a good
Casanova,
lawyer.
man. Yeah, hopefully. This is terrible news. Well, guys, thank you for watching us. Academics, Wayno, and me will be back here tomorrow for our last show of the week. We'll
Will
see you here
we?
tomorrow.
Will we be here?
Tomorrow's Thursday. Yeah, we're gonna.
They said online we got fired, but we still working. How that shit work, man? Bro, how that shit work, bro? How that shit work?
Right.
Oh man, guys, we're actually, like we haven't loved doing the show virtually all year. I haven't seen these two in person literally since March, which is so crazy because I got used to seeing them, every single week. So we're actually gonna try to go to the studio and tape a couple of those like episodes where we're looking back on the best moments. I know if we have to wear a mask and all this weird shit, but we're gonna try to do it. I feel like we have to go out the right way.
Nice.
So we're looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys. In the meantime.
Yes.
We gotta go. We'll see you guys here tomorrow on Complex.